bureaucracies don't work. We have 100 and some thousand bureaucrats in Washington policing us, and they carry guns. We weren't supposed to have a federal police force. And this is astounding that we tolerate so much. Just think of what we tolerate at our airports with TSA agents. No probable cause, but boy, they treat us like we're terrorists. And the assumption is that we are a potential terrorist and they can do with us what they want. And I just think we have lack of respect for this basic principles of individual liberty. Now, the big question, though, is if we need to cut back and shrink the size of the government, how do we do it? Where do we start? I mean, it's just a huge problem. So far in Washington, I hate to discourage you, but so far in Washington, there is no serious understanding or any attempt to cut anything. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, but you hear all the time, okay, we have this super Congress. Congress doesn't know what to do and they don't do anything. So we're going to have a super Congress of 12 people and they're going to tell us about some cuts. They're not cuts. They're talking about cutting $1.2 trillion out of the budget in the next 10 years, and it's only cuts out of proposed increases. No cuts whatsoever. Now, if you were worried about your budget, what would you have to do? You'd have to cut right away. This year, you'd have to cut back, and you would be scrimping and saving, but not in Washington. There's no real effort. So my proposal starts with priorities. Where would you cut? Well, the first place I won't start would be on those that we have taught to be dependent on government. Now, there's a lot of those programs I don't like. I don't think they should be started, but we have conditioned a lot of people to become very dependent on checks coming from the government. I think of the elderly and the children and the sick people, and for us to say this is where we cut and balance a budget, no way. That's not going to happen. But it does feed on itself. We have to address it. Today, we have 45 million people getting food stamps. It's growing exponentially. And the thing of it is, what can you do? People don't have jobs. They're hungry. So we're so dependent. It grows like this. What about unemployment insurance? Should we cut the unemployment insurance? And people say, well, maybe if they didn't get the insurance, they'd work harder and take any job they could get. Then again, they say, well, you're cruel and heartless. You can't start on that. So I find that there's an easier place to start cutting. I think that we should work our way out of it. We should be concerned about taking care of us here at home. But I am sick and tired of all the spending overseas in the things that we need. I think that we should cut all the foreign aid. On principle, we shouldn't have any foreign aid. If you want to send foreign aid, you can send it to anybody you want, anytime you want, no restrictions. But as far as taking money from you and sending it someplace else, I argue that foreign aid is taking money from poor people in a rich country and giving it to rich people in a poor country. It doesn't help you.